you found out that they're trying to set up Drake in LA at one point. What exactly was that about?
That was about like him and Diddy were beefing.
Y'all, the Game just threw the biggest grenade on the industry and no one saw it coming. This isn't some vague lyric. This ain't subliminal shade. He straight up claimed that Diddy tried to get Drake killed. Not just a scuffle, not just a setup, a whole hit, allegedly. And over what? Cassie. Let that sit with you for a second. Drake, the man who once idolized Diddy, attended his infamous parties, studied his every move, even copied his vibe at those freak-offs, may have actually been marked for death. You think this is just rap beef, baby? This is starting to feel like something much darker. Retaliation, conspiracy, maybe even premeditated. And the Game, he just lit the fuse. So buckle up, because we're about to take you down the rabbit hole. From the infamous 2014 Miami brawl that landed Drake in the ER, to Diddy allegedly torturing Kid Cudi's Porsche with a Molotov cocktail, and Cassie's courtroom testimony that cracked the whole damn ceiling, this web is thick. Let's rewind to December 2014, DJ Khaled's birthday bash at Club Live in Miami, one of those nights where egos, cameras, and billion-dollar grudges all come to party. Drake was in the building, riding high off his smash 0 to 100, a track that was everywhere. Nominated for Grammys, fans obsessed, but behind the music, trouble. Because guess what? That beat, it wasn't even supposed to be Drake's. Diddy claimed that track was his. He'd apparently been sitting on it for months, courtesy of producer Boy Wanda. But Drake got tired of waiting, so he ran with it, made it a hit, made it iconic, but also made it war. And that war popped off that night. Word is, Diddy walked straight up to Drake, looked him dead in the face and said, "You'll never disrespect me again." Then, boom, a punch. Not a little shove, not a tap, but a full-on hit that reportedly sent Drake straight to the ER with a re-injured shoulder. You feel that? That's not about a song. That's personal. Because guess who was also part of the picture? Cassie. Let's talk about the timeline. Because baby, it's suspicious. Around the same time Drake dropped 0 to 100, Diddy was furious. And Cassie? She was supposedly getting ready to attend Drake's OVO Fest. But the night before that event, Cassie got beaten so badly, allegedly by Diddy, she needed plastic surgery to hide the injuries. Yet she still showed up, hair styled over her wounds, silent, supporting Diddy. But what if she wasn't there for Diddy? What if she was there for Drake? Now ask yourself, what if Diddy knew? Fast forward to 2024. The Game drops a bomb during an interview. And not just any interview. He names names on camera. Says Diddy allegedly tried to get Drake killed.
So that's basically all we did. I think the few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just...
And y'all, it gets wilder. Game even hinted at an audio recording, one where Diddy allegedly talks about putting that hit on Drake. Now, we haven't heard that tape yet, but Game says he has it. Whether it exists or not, you can't ignore this. Too many fights, too many secrets, too much eerie silence from people who should be screaming. Let's not forget, Kid Cudi testified in Diddy's federal trial, said Diddy and an associate broke into his home after finding out Cudi was dating Cassie, said his Porsche got firebombed, dog locked in the bathroom, surveillance cameras moved. This wasn't fan fiction. This was police reported. So if Diddy allegedly went that far over Cassie and Cudi, do you really think it's a stretch to believe he'd go even further with Drake? A man who took Cassie's attention and one of Diddy's prize beats? That's not just betrayal, that's checkmate. And Drake? He's been throwing low-key shade ever since. Remember his 2016 track 4 p.m. in Calabasas? That track wasn't just a diss, it was a message. It's lines like, "They hit my phone like, you did that?" Yeah, I did that. Subtle, yes, but aimed. Academics even called it out. He was convinced it was about Diddy, especially after the chaos of OVO Fest and Cassie's injuries. And Drake? He's been quiet, too quiet, because in this industry, loudmouths vanish. That's just facts. And y'all remember young Drake, wheelchair Jimmy Drake, that babyface boy used to hang out at Diddy's parties before he even popped off? There's footage, literal footage, of a young Drake freestyling about attending those parties. The same parties Cassie described in court. The same parties where Diddy allegedly recorded everything.
I laugh and just say that I'm busy repping my city, yo. Yeah, I had a thing with that girl from Mario video. Yeah, I went to Metro at X's party with Diddy, though. And no, I can't explain why these artists I tend to pity, though.
So ask yourself, Was Drake being filmed too? If he was at those pods before the fame, before the facial hair, before the billions, was he part of the leverage? Did Diddy keep those tapes to control him? Because let's be real, that 2014 punch, that wasn't the crime. That was the warning shot. Cassie's testimony, it cracked the whole machine. She talked about the freak-offs, the blackmail, and buried deep in her story was Drake. Not by name, but by presence, by silence. Let's flash back to 2013. Cassie and Diddy were prepping for Drake's OVO Fest, supposed to be a surprise appearance, but Cassie testified that the night before they flew out, Diddy busted into her LA apartment, beat her so badly she needed plastic surgery. She still went to the event, but hid her face, sent Diddy a text with the photo of her bruised eye. That exact text was shown in court. So again, why was Diddy that angry before Drake's event? Let's stack this on top of Kid Cudi's bombshell. In 2011, he was secretly dating Cassie. Diddy found out, went full villain, broke into Cudi's house, rearranged his security cameras, locked the dog up, and weeks later, Cudi's Porsche gets firebombed. And when Cudi confronted Diddy at Soho House, Diddy said, "I don't know what you're talking about." Then in 2015, he just said, "I want to apologize for everything." This ain't speculation anymore. This is starting to sound like evidence. Cassie also testified that Diddy used to record the freak-offs, everything, and then threatened to leak those tapes if she didn't obey. That's why she stayed. That's why she suffered. Now hold on. A clip of young Drake resurfaces. Him rapping about going to those Diddy parties before the spotlight, before the status. That alone changes everything. Because if Drake's on those tapes, if he saw what happened at those parties, if Diddy had leverage, it explains everything. Why he never hit back after getting punched, why he never mentioned Cassie, why he dropped subtle disses instead of declaring war. Maybe Drake wasn't scared of Diddy. Maybe he was scared of the tapes. And DJ Academics, he connected the dots. Said 4 p.m. in Calabasas was a chess move. Calm, surgical, strategic. Drake wasn't venting. He was signaling, letting Diddy know, "I see you, I know what you did, but don't test me." Then you add the whispers. The alleged moment Diddy called Drake a thief on stage, Cassie getting brutally beaten the night before OVO Fest, and now the game exposing everything. The puzzle's complete. And it is scary. Drake may have been silent, but he wasn't weak. He was watching. Because here's where things go from messy to straight up twisted. Too close, like Ferrari for nothing weird. Back in the day, Game and Diddy, they were close. Too close. We're talking partying together, tight photos, the whole vibe. Long before Dre signed him, the Game was moving with Puff. That's major. But Game himself admitted Diddy was first.
Running around with Puff for a minute, but we was just partying, man. Puff liked to party. So that's basically all we did. I think the few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just. So I feel like I owe Diddy something, so I bought him a Ferrari, man.
That's what's up, man.
It was just a Tuesday.
He even told TMZ that Puff bought him a Ferrari just for letting him go. Pause. A Ferrari? For what exactly? That moment raised eyebrows, but then it got even sketchier when the Game's own brother, Big Face 100, jumped into the mess. He dropped a now deleted IG post showing Diddy hugging Game from behind, super tight. Caption, "Maybe it wasn't my street credibility." And baby, the internet exploded. That caption was shade, no doubt. And from his own blood, that hits different. People were quick to start whispering, was there more to Diddy and Game's friendship? Was Big Face low-key trying to expose something deeper? Some fans said it was just bitterness, sibling beef, but others, they weren't buying that, especially when that post got deleted like it never happened. Scrubbed clean, like someone made a phone call and said, "You better take that down." But screenshots, they live forever, and y'all already know, this ain't the first time Diddy's name has been mixed in with those kinds of rumors, just saying. But what's wild is Game never responded to that post. Not a clapback, not a denial, nothing. He just went silent. And then he started pulling away from Diddy. Slowly at first, then publicly. That's when cracks started to show. And now, Game's spilling everything. In his viral Vlad TV interview, he let it all out. Said Diddy wasn't just mad about a song, he wanted Drake gone. Like, erased. Not over a track, not over pride, but over Cassie, over secrets. Secrets Drake might have known. And Game, he's seen the machine. He knows who controls what in this industry. And baby, he's had enough. He's done playing nice, let's be real. Game has dissed Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and Nas all in one breath before. He's not scared of anyone. But this time, he ain't dissing for clout. He's warning us, loud and clear. Think about it. Diddy is now facing federal charges. Cassie's in court, Kid Cudi's dropping police reports, and suddenly Game's speaking out. Why? Because the timing is everything. When the empire starts shaking, people run. And Game, he's not running. He's blowing it up. He's independent. Nobody owns him. Nobody's holding tapes over his head. And he's saying what everyone else is scared to admit. Let's zoom out and stack this mess. Diddy allegedly beat Cassie the night before Drake's OVO Fest. Diddy punched Drake over a beat he claimed was stolen. Diddy allegedly bombed Kid Cudi's Porsche over Cassie. Diddy reportedly recorded freak-off parties that included Drake. Now add in new lawsuits, federal heat, celebrity subpoenas. Baby, this ain't a coincidence. This is implosion. And remember, Game used to ride for this man. He even said Diddy was like a brother. So if he's flipping now, it means the stakes are life or death. And he doesn't want to go down with the ship. Now, let's get real. Everyone's asking, why didn't Drake ever speak out? Why didn't he press charges after that punch in 2014? Why didn't he ever drop names? Why keep showing up to industry events with a forced smile like nothing happened? You'd think a man with Drake's clout, billions of streams, his own empire, would have clapped back hard. But he didn't. And that silence? It's louder than any diss track, because Drake's silence wasn't fear, it was strategy, it was survival. Let's revisit that infamous night in 2014. Club Live. Diddy walks up to Drake and says, "You'll never disrespect me again." Then punches him so hard, Drake ends up in the hospital. And guess what Drake does? Nothing. No press release, no diss, no legal action. Why? Because what if something was hanging over his head? What if Diddy had leverage, just like Cassie said, just like she swore under oath? She said everything at those parties was filmed, everything. And she said Diddy used those tapes to blackmail her, to control her. So imagine being young Drake, fresh off Degrassi, craving fame, getting invited to Diddy's house, no security, no PR, just him, Puff, and those cameras rolling. That's not speculation, that's documented. Drake even freestyled back in the day about being at Diddy's parties before he popped off. If he saw what happened there, or worse, if he was filmed, he couldn't make a move. That silence was the cost of staying alive. That's why 4 p.m. in Calabasas was so cold. It wasn't just a song. That ain't flexing, that's code. That's, I know what you did. I didn't forget, but I'm still breathing. And now the game says there's a tape, an actual audio of Diddy talking about putting a hit on Drake. If that tape exists, this whole thing explodes. And not just for Diddy, for everyone. And maybe, just maybe, Drake's been sitting on something too. Something nuclear. Maybe he's been waiting, biding his time. Salations collecting receipts. Because if that audio leaks and Drake confirms it, it's not rap beef anymore, it's a RICO case. We've watched this chaos unravel for over a decade. From studio beef to nightclub fights to once parties to federal raids, we've heard whispers, seen bruised faces. Watched careers shift and stars vanish, but now there are court documents, leaked messages, eyewitnesses, FBI subpoena, burned vehicle, deleted footage, and yes, a possible recording of a murder plot. Cassie's testimony didn't just destroy Diddy's image, it pulled the whole facade down. It showed us the rot underneath the industry's gold chains and champagne flutes. And Drake? He might be the final puzzle piece. The witness, the survivor, the vault. And when he finally opens that vault, Hollywood, hip-hop, the entire culture might go down in flames with it. So now the question is, will Drake speak? Will that audio leak? Or will the silence, just like always, be the only thing that survives? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button if you're still trying to process all this mess, and keep your eyes wide open, because if this is just the beginning, we ain't seen nothing yet.